You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and we have an OG Anunoby injury update, and it is good news for the New York Knicks. Prior to the loss over the Golden State Warriors, Tom Thibodeau told the media that OG Anunoby has been cleared to resume on-court basketball activities. That means he will resume shooting, he will resume dribbling, he will resume passing, and he will start to work his way back into shape, which is the first step in the right direction for OG Anunoby and his injury process when it comes to rehabbing getting back on the basketball floor. Anunoby, though, he has not been cleared for contact. So this is step one in the part of the process for Anunoby. I believe by this time next week, Anunoby will have a chance to be cleared for contact. And I think sometime before March 14th, he'll be looking to get back on the basketball court. TNT sideline reporter, I forget her name, I apologize, said she thinks it will be no sooner than 10 days that he resumes game action. So good news for Anunoby, though. Cleared for basketball activities, allowed to start shooting, passing, dribbling, and boy, oh boy, do the New York Knicks need him out there. They went 4-8 in the month of February without him. They desperately miss his perimeter defense, but they just miss the size and strength that he brings to this team. Let's hope Anunoby can get back out here healthy. If you're ready to see OG Anunoby back on the floor, potentially in about a week or so, hit that thumbs up icon for me right now. Coming up on today's show, I want to break down the idea of the New York Knicks pursuing either Patty Mills or Marcus Morris in NBA free agency, as both of these guys have recently been bought out by their teams. They are now free agents and free to sign wherever they want. Let's start with Marcus Morris. He was traded from the Philadelphia 76ers a couple of times, and he ended up with the San Antonio Spurs, and they have agreed to a buyout. Remember, Morris once played for the New York Knicks, and we know he is the guy that can score the basketball, and I think that is a big need for this New York Knicks team. I don't even think they cracked 100 points against the Golden State Warriors. They had 95 points in the last minute, and they got a couple of cheap Hartenstein dunks. You couldn't score the basketball against the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm not expecting for Marcus Morris to be a needle mover, but can he come in and can he provide you with a guy that can score the ball? He shot 40% from three this year with the Philadelphia 76ers. He's shooting 43% on catch and shoot threes. Why not sign him? He gives you a little bit more size. He gives you a little bit more strength. And heck, he may even actually be able to be your starting power forward next to a guy like Hartenstein, and you bring Precious Achiuwa back off the bench, because the New York Knicks right now, they are rolling out a lineup where they are making it nearly impossible for themselves to score. You have Achiuwa, you have Hartenstein, and you have Josh Hart. You have three players that no one in the NBA would ever fool as offensively skilled players that can shoot the basketball. You need another scorer. If Randle's going to be out a while, maybe Morris is your guy you lean on in the playoffs to be a guy that comes off the bench. I think Anunoby will be in the starting lineup. Obviously, he returns, but I could see Bogey being slid in, or they keep Josh Hart. He gives you scoring. He gives you a little toughness, and he showed that he could play inside Madison Square Garden before. I would sign Marcus Morris right now. I also know this: if Marcus Morris is signed, we're going to get you guys a video as soon as possible. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. Free, informative, entertaining, passion-driven content on your New York Knicks. We go live for every single game day. We live on the channel on Sunday. Subscribe, tune in, and let's go Knicks. Let's talk about Patty Mills around the corner as the potential free agency signing for the Knicks. We know Alec Burks has not worked out so well. Maybe they look to go to a more veteran, proven player in this league. We'll talk about that. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. We are the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Football season may be over, but the action on the floor is heating up. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. And if you use the promo code CLNS, they will match your first deposit up to $100. Pick more, pick less, play Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Daily fantasy sports made easy. College basketball, NBA, NHL, NASCAR, golf, and so much more. Check them out. Shams Charania reported this week, I believe that was actually today or a couple of days ago, that the Atlanta Hawks are waiving guard Patty Mills. The 15-year veteran is shooting 38% from three-point range in a limited role this season. And as we know, the New York Knicks are a team that could benefit from some veteran point guard play and someone that can also shoot the ball from the outside. Also, Patty Mills, he has a lot of playoff experience under his belt. He was an NBA champion in 2014. He was a second-round pick in 2009, the 55th overall selection. At the 2012 Olympics, Mills had the highest scoring average with 21.2 points per game. I also think some people forget that when he was a part of those San Antonio Spurs teams, he was largely dependent on as a scorer. I know 2014 is quite some time ago, but in those NBA finals, he averaged more than 10 points per game and shot better than 50% from the field. But he's also been just as good, if not better, in international play. His career stats in international hoops, which is 55 games played, he's averaging almost 21 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3+ assists, and 38.5% from three. Is Patty Mills still the type of player that can give you that type of production? I would say no, but I do think he is someone that can come off the bench for the New York Knicks, spell Jalen Brunson for a little bit, and give you a veteran that has proven it time and time again to kind of come in and carry the pace a little bit. He's also a guy that's never afraid of the moment, and if he's open from three, he can square it up and he can knock it down. I would sign Patty Mills, and I would also sign Marcus Morris, because no disrespect to Daquan Jeffries or Jacob Toppin or any Charlie Brown Jr. on the end of the Knicks bench, those guys can go play for the G League team. I promise you no one's going to steal them from you. The Knicks are so injury depleted, they need legit NBA talent on this roster. And I know these guys' best days are behind them at this point, but they're proven players. And they at least put a little bit of fear into a scouting report of an opposing team. If you had to pick one of these guys for the Knicks to sign, though, who would it be? Would you go with the veteran scoring guard off the bench and Patty Mills, or would you go with the former New York Knick, Marcus Morris, the front court player that can also score the basketball? Let me know what you think. I would sign both, but I would put Morris ahead of Patty Mills because I actually think Morris may be able to start on this team while injuries remain here with OG Anunoby and Julius Randle. I think he could be your starting power forward. And you can keep Boyan coming off the bench, which seems like that's something Tom Thibodeau wants to do. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, though, and you've hit that thumbs up icon. We'll be back on Sunday with a live video and more videos every single day this year.